Another radical professor in a Texas university at September 10th, 2025 in these year headlines. We'll have an update on the saga at Texas A&M in just a moment, but first, a Texas State University professor is under fire after being recorded at a National Socialist conference expressing support for overthrowing the U.S. government. Tom Alter, an associate professor of history, made the comments this past weekend during the Revolutionary Socialism Conference. In a video later published online, Alter asked, "Without organization, how can anyone expect to overthrow the most bloodthirsty, profit-driven, mad organization in the history of the world, that of the U.S. government?" Alter went on to criticize the Democratic Socialists of America as ineffective, insisting that reforms are not enough. He also highlighted the reach of Texas State, noting it is the state's largest teacher training college, giving professors influence not just on campus, but in K-12 classrooms across the state. Alter has previously written in favor of international socialist activism and is currently working on a book about punk rock, communism, and homosexuality in the early 1980s. Texas State University said it is aware of the comments and it is investigating the matter and will take appropriate action based on the findings. Texas State is part of the Texas State University system. It's overseen by regents appointed by the governor and confirmed by the state senate. Texas A&M president Marque Welsh is facing mounting calls for termination after defending LGBT material in a children's literature course. But critics say this isn't just an isolated incident. No, Welsh has a long record of promoting left-leaning policies, especially in diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI. Before becoming president, Welsh served as dean of A&M's Bush School, where he launched its first diversity town hall, created a DEI committee, and required training for students and staff. He said at the time, diversity is strength, equity builds trust, and inclusion is an imperative. A retired four-star Air Force general, Welsh was appointed to the Joint Chiefs by President Obama. After George Floyd's death, he told A&M students there was no question white privilege exists, adding that he grew up with it. And even after lawmakers banned DEI offices, Welsh defended exceptions and admitted A&M continued targeted recruitment in DEI-style programming under different names. When Governor Greg Abbott threatened to fire him earlier this year over a DEI conference, Welsh only backed down after public pressure. Now, after initially defending a professor who promoted teaching LGBT ideology to young children, Welsh reversed course and announced terminations. Aggies, lawmakers, and watchdogs say the pattern is clear: defend first, reverse later. And critics argue Welsh's priorities have long leaned left, raising questions about why the regents appointed him in the first place.
Are you worried about your kid's future? You should be. I'm Charles Blaine with Texas Tomorrow. This is a show where we're going to talk about the issues and the people that are pushing the policies that concern your family, your home, and your kids. Catch Texas Tomorrow every Thursday.
Marque city leaders say their finances are in shambles. Interim city manager Barbara Hawley announced that the city in Galveston County is down to its last $1.2 million, enough, she warned, to keep the city running for just over 2 weeks. Hawley says the city needs at least $3 million to finish out the year and closer to $5 million if a hurricane or other disaster strikes. She uncovered the shortfall shortly after taking over 5 weeks ago. In an email to the city council later obtained by local media, Hawley outlined options including a tax increase, higher utility rates, or an emergency loan. And at a press conference this week, officials revealed Marque spends about $60,000 a day to operate. That leaves less than 20 days of funding at current levels. The council has now approved a 3-part plan raising property taxes from 39 to 45 cents per $100 of value, freezing hiring and travel, and seeking emergency loans. For the average homeowner in Marque, that tax increase means about $144 more per year. Leaders also created a financial oversight committee after admitting past administrations failed to provide council members with basic financial reports. The turmoil comes after a string of city manager departures, adding instability to an already fragile situation. For more of today's stories, go to TexasScorecard.com.